Welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle, Cheryl, September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and this is one of those things that really does need more awareness because it doesn't get that much attention in conversation.
That's right. And our next guest heads the Clearity Foundation, an organization that provides both medical and emotional resources for women dealing with ovarian cancer. So please welcome to Main Street Living, Hillary Theakston. Hillary, thank you so much for making the time for us today.
Oh, thanks for talking to us and thanks for shining a little bit of a spotlight on ovarian cancer during September. Really appreciate y'all taking the time.
Thank you.
Right. Well, so as Quincy just mentioned, as you just mentioned, September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. That is news to me, so it's already doing its job. So for people who don't know much about ovarian cancer, what is the basics on the diagnosis and why is it so challenging to treat?
Sure. Well, those are great questions and great ones during September. And I think it's really useful for your listeners to know that ovarian cancer, oftentimes there is no early detection for ovarian cancer. That's usually a surprise to a lot of women when they go for their annual gynecological appointment. The tests that are customarily conducted do not screen for ovarian cancer. So typically we're diagnosing ovarian cancer really late in the disease course at stage 3 or stage 4, when cancer is usually harder to treat. It's spread. And so it's harder to treat at that point. And so the survival rates for ovarian cancer, unfortunately, lag behind those for other cancers like breast cancer. It's one of those areas where we still need to see a lot of improvement in outcomes. So Clearity is here to support women in accessing the latest science, in supporting them emotionally through this experience. I think it's really important on that topic of diagnosis for women to know that the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer can be kind of vague. Sometimes it's bloating or abdominal pain or urinary frequency or urgency. So it's really important that if you,
for me.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So I can see it's difficult.
Yeah, a lot of women will tell us that, they knew for a while that something was different. And it oftentimes takes a while to get a confirmatory diagnosis. So I think if you can, encourage listeners to just be real strong advocates for their health. If you suspect something, don't be dismissed and find a physician who will listen to your concerns if you feel like something's really different.
Yeah, you always want to talk to your doctor. And sometimes people might think that they're hypochondriacs or they're worried about things like that. But I always say it's better to be safe than sorry. And if you feel off, get it checked out. So the Clearity Foundation was founded back in 2008. What made this get started?
Yeah. So our founder, Dr. Laura Shaver, was a bench scientist in her early career. So she was one of these drug discovery scientists who developed some of the first targeted treatments for cancer. So these new treatments that we have to treat cancer in a more precise, less toxic way, she was involved in that in the early stages of her career. And she knew all about the technologies that would allow us to test the genes of tumor cells and figure out which drugs were more likely to be effective against those cancers. So when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, her first thought was, well, what kinds of tests are we going to do on my tumor to figure out which drug is most likely to work? And like I said in the beginning, not all cancers are enjoying the same rate of improvement in treatments. We're not all enjoying the same rate of improvements in survival. And her oncologist basically said, we don't do that yet in ovarian cancer. Even though the technology exists, even though the tests are available, we just don't really know how to use them. So she, being both a scientist and an entrepreneur, she said, this is not acceptable. This needs to change. And I'm going to be part of changing this. Good. So that's what really founded Clearity, was figuring out how can we help women get their tumors tested so they can improve their ovarian cancer treatment. And in doing so, improve their odds of survival. So that was really the founding motivation, the founding inspiration for Clearity.
That's so amazing, because anybody who's seen a loved one or a family member or a friend go through cancer treatment, it is brutal, right? So anything we can do to advance it and make it a little bit better. What kinds of support does Clearity offer?
So Clearity really, our goal is to help women and families who are going through this experience with all of the support that they need. So in our early days, we were really focused on the science and understanding what was happening with each woman's unique tumor and helping her use research and science to make the very best treatment decision she could. And since then, we've expanded our offerings so that we also provide psychosocial support. Women, you can imagine, you've seen this firsthand, you alluded to this. This is stressful, it's anxiety producing, it affects the whole family. And so we help women to really manage and cope with the diagnosis, learn how to manage their stress, to manage the uncertainty of the diagnosis, to become comfortable with all of the flood of information that they need to learn in managing their condition. So we help with that adjustment. All right. Maybe you've heard this from your friends who are experiencing a cancer diagnosis. People sometimes feel like they're living on a different planet. It turns their lives upside down, and it can be a really difficult adjustment. So we're there to help bring the latest science, the latest research and technology to help women find the very best treatment decision that they can, and to support them emotionally along the way with the ups and downs that come with the cancer journey. So we're there for the whole family and for the whole experience.
Your organization is doing so much good, and we are running short on time here. But before we go, I want to ask you about the Who's Your Teal Woman campaign, and also about a special event you have coming up.
Terrific. So the Who's Your Teal Woman campaign is a great way during September, during Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, to recognize and acknowledge anyone in your life who has been impacted by an ovarian cancer diagnosis. So you can visit Clearity.org, CLEARITY.org, and nominate a woman as your Teal Woman. And we have had such an amazing response to this campaign. People just really relish the opportunity to help women who are facing this diagnosis feel supported and seen. And so that's a great way just for anyone in your life who's struggling with this to help them feel seen and supported. We have a really exciting broadcast on September 19th. It's our Teal Woman celebration. We're doing it virtually this year. Shannon Miller is going to be our host. She's an Olympic gold medalist, and we've got lots of fun content and engaging content. You'll get to hear her story, our founder's story, Dr. Laura Shaver, and it's going to be a great event. It's happening on September 19th at 6 p.m. You can register at Clearity.org. It's free to attend, but we also have some great sponsor benefits if you want to host a viewing party in your house. There's some really fun goodie bags if you register and sponsor that.
Yeah, so your 2021 Teal Woman Virtual Celebration, that's on September 19th, again, right here on Your View. Actually, real quick before we let you go, how can viewers find more information about ovarian cancer and Clearity?
Yeah. So, the Clearity website is a great first stop. There's a ton of information and resources there. It's Clearity.org. That's just a great landing point. We have folks who are available to speak to people who might be dealing with a diagnosis or a recurrence of their cancer. So that's just a great spot to go and figure out what other resources might be appropriate for you. So Clearity.org is a great first step.
All right. We love your passion and everything you are doing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Really appreciate the time.
All right. We've got lots more coming up on Main Street Living. We want you to be healthy. So coming up, if you like smoothies, we've got a healthy and a tasty recipe for you. You'll want to stick around.